The same folks who tell us and told us that January 6th was nothing but a tourist visit are now trying to tell us that transgender people are not real. And I would say that their claim is probably just as legitimate as all their others, which is to say, not very much at all.
All right, guys, so that is AOC melting down over Congressman Andrew Clyde from Georgia, schooling a woke doctor on if men can get pregnant, which this woke doctor, this Planned Parenthood doctor who works on transgender individuals at Planned Parenthood, said that yes, men could get pregnant. And again, this Republican congressman here, Mr. Clyde, gave him a quick biology lesson and set him straight on that issue. However, because we're living in an upside down world, cuckoo for Cocoa Puff land in 2022, facts has become hate speech. Yes, stating biological facts or facts about biology has become hate speech to the left. And that is basically what this video is about, which is Cenk Uygur of TYT melting down over this congressman simply stating biological facts, saying that this guy is being hateful, he's transphobic, that we hate trans people. And that's just simply not the case. And this, again, just shows how the left never wants to engage in the substance of the debate in regards to these, policies that cater to transgender individuals. Rather, they just argue with, well, you just hate them. And that's why you don't want to go along with the woke agenda, right? So with that being said, I want to go ahead and react to this and go from there.
Right, and I'm answering the question. Somebody with a uterus may have the capability of becoming pregnant, whether they're a woman or a man. That doesn't make a difference.
Okay, we're done.
Not every person with a uterus
isn't complicated.
has the ability.
Let me tell you, if a person has a uterus and is born female, they are a woman. That is not a man, and the vast majority of the world considers that to be a woman because there are biological differences between men and women.
Okay. Now, before we get into this, what did this man say wrong, right? What did this man say that was not factual? I don't think he said anything there that was incorrect. But let's listen to TYT. Again, absolutely melt down over facts.
Now we're gonna have a great response to Clyde and his condescending approach to that conversation from AOC in just a sec. But first, I wanted to give you a chance to jump in.
Yeah, so let me break it down for the right way, because I'm not sure anybody's ever explained it to them in this very clear way. And although God knows a lot of people have tried, right? And then we'll see why they care, okay? So some people are born as women and they have a uterus, but they think and they feel that they are men. And so some of them transition to becoming men. But they still have their uterus, so they can get pregnant. And so that explains it. It's actually super simple.
No, that still doesn't make them men, right? Just because you transition to be a man, that doesn't make you an actual man, okay? So Cenk thinks that, oh, this is very simple. Just because they think, therefore they are, right? That is what his argument is. That's his line of logic here. But that line of logic doesn't apply to anything else in society except this, right? There's no other issue in society where people say, I think, therefore I am, and people take you seriously except this gender issue, because we've seen what the left does when it comes to race. If you apply, I think, therefore I am, when it comes to race, people are going to call you a race faker, right? Look at what happened to Rachel Dolezal. The left hated the fact that she was a white woman attempting to be a black woman. They hated that. So again, we already know how they feel about it when it comes to race. But for whatever reason, when it comes to gender, that's totally fine. So again, the question is, why is there such an arbitrary line in regards to how far this can go? Because again, eventually transracialism will become a thing. It will become a thing. And I don't want to hear people on the left opposing it when there's a bunch of white people who all of a sudden want to identify as black to get all the benefits of being a so-called person of color. I don't want to hear these people complaining.
But I don't know why you guys don't believe them. Do you get that that's super weird that you don't believe them?
Again, apply this logic to any other subject. Like, for example, race. I'll use race for this video Because again, it just shows you how silly this sounds. Could you imagine somebody ever saying to somebody that, hey, you know, it's weird that you don't believe that this pale white guy is actually black, right? He is a dark-skinned black African-American individual. And it is weird that you don't believe him, right? Because he is transracial. Could you ever imagine somebody saying that? Right? No, nobody would ever say that. I think that most people would say, actually, no, it's weird for him to believe that, right? Considering how we can see with our own two eyes that they're a pale white guy. They're in fact not black, right? We are just observing and acknowledging biological facts. But again, according to Cenk Uygur here, acknowledging biological facts is weird, right? And that society as a whole must believe somebody when they say they are something that is just biologically not true. We must believe it. Which, again, I am not banning or trying to ban people from believing what they want to believe about themselves. But Cenk Uygur is obviously trying to ban you from being able to believe what you want to believe, right? He's saying that you must believe an individual even when they state things about themselves that are not grounded in reality. He said, no, you must believe them. And this is a perfect example of how the left not only is trying to criminalize free speech, they're also trying to criminalize free thought. Okay, you're not even allowed to think things that we don't agree with. Okay, that is what Cenk Uygur is advocating for here.
Like, oh, you think like that you're actually a man and you feel that way. I don't believe you. What a weird thing. I'm a Steelers fan. I don't believe you. Why don't you believe me? Why would I lie about that? And saying that.
Again, imagine this line of logic being applied to any other topic. Again, like race. Do you think this man would be as passionate about defending that as he is about the gender thing? I don't really think so. I really don't think so. But here's the thing. It's not that everybody's saying I don't believe you, as much as people are saying, look, we just believe that society should be organized around biological sex. When it comes to bathrooms, locker rooms, sports, you know, when it comes to things that literally have something to do with biological function, in the sense that it makes sense for us to organize society around our biological functionality, yeah, I think that we should just adhere to tradition, right? Because that is what makes sense. That has worked for our society. However, now what you're trying to do is that now you're inconveniencing 99% of society, mainly a lot of women, to accommodate less than 1% of society. Okay, by allowing biological men to be in the same locker rooms with women. Again, especially when the men are still swinging, right? They haven't got their battle scars yet to show they're really about their life. But you're telling me they should be allowed in women's restrooms. So yeah, screw all the women that want to change in peace without being in the presence of penises, okay? They're bigots, okay? According to people like Cenk Uygur, right? They're bigots. Because again, we can't hurt the feelings of one individual that has these feelings about themselves, that's not grounded in biological reality, but as a society, we must adhere to, okay? Again, these people lack common sense. They lack common sense. That's not trying to erase trans people. Trans people have a right to exist, but we still need to adhere to common sense, basic morality, and functionality in society when it comes to how we organize ourselves. That's the key. Because in my opinion, I think that if a trans person gets the battle scars, whether it be that they get their, penis cut off, right, for a transgender woman, or they grow a penis or whatever for a transgender man, if you have genitalia that matches, the restroom that you want to use, hey, go for it. Because then at that point, at the very least, it kind of gets rid of the whole awkwardness situation, the uncomfortableness situation, right? Which basically comes from the genitalia mismatch, right? So again, I'm not for banning trans people from living their lives or whatever. I just want some common sense, okay? We only can go so far with this stuff until we're starting to talk about people getting special rights. Because I do believe that transgender individuals already have equal rights, but we're in the territory of, well, they need special rights.
That, hey, I feel like a man, that I'm a man mentally, psychologically, and so I'm going to transition to being a man. That's not being a Steelers fan. That's much more difficult. That's much harder. And you got to put up with Neanderthals like Clyde. Your whole life, people filled with hate coming to you and saying, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And I think you're bad. For what? I was born this way. You're immoral for being born that way. Who would choose to do that? They do that because that's what they actually feel. But right-wingers are right now, all across the country are going, no, if you feel that way, we're going to say we don't believe you, and we're going to hate you in every possible way. And we're going to
hate you in every possible way. Hate you in every possible way. So again, not wanting men and women to share the same bathrooms or compete against each other in sports or to have, men essentially dominating women's spaces, that is hating trans people. That's what it is according to Cenk Uygur. You see how this conversation goes, guys? All this congressman did was state a biological fact, which is that men cannot get pregnant, right? Biological men can't get pregnant. The doctor basically refused to answer the question. And this is the response from the left, right? They fall apart over facts. They accuse facts of being hate speech. Again, this is how the left likes to play. This is how they like to play.
We're going to pass laws against you. We're going to say so you don't get the same rights as everyone else.
They do have all the same rights. They just want special rights now. And I don't think that anybody in society should have special rights. I don't care what victimhood card you claim.
Why? Why do you care? There's something about it that bothers them.
Well, we care because women, particularly women, are being traumatized across the country because of these woke laws that have been put in place to accommodate these individuals. Again, you're inconveniencing 99% of society for the 1%, and this man thinks that, oh yeah, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. When the 1% can easily be accommodated in a way that satisfies everybody, but they just don't want to do it, right? People just don't want to do it. They're like, no, we want special rights. We don't want to go just use bathrooms that are for us, okay? We don't want to do that, which again can easily be done. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to have men dominate women's spaces. Biological men dominate women's space. That's what we want. That's what we want. And these are the same people that will tell you, hey, we're on the side of women's rights. Okay? Women's rights. Incredible stuff. Women's rights has progressed into men's rights. Right? Again, that's how far off the cliff we've gone with this. Again, that's not to say that, trans people can't be trans. Whatever, be trans. Do what you want. But there has to be certain limitations on what can you do, okay? Has to be limitations on it.
And what it is two things. One is, let's be honest, I know it's going to bother a lot of people and it's going to offend some people, but our job is to tell you the truth. No, yes, it's of course partly religion.
Here we go. What religion you think he gonna blame here? What religion you think he talking about? The same religion that has been very tolerant towards the LGBTQ movement. Christianity in America. Christianity in America has been very tolerant. Otherwise, we wouldn't be at this place right now, right? Where they're arguing for special rights. They would still be arguing for the right to get married, right? We would still be on gay marriage if Christians in this country weren't tolerant of LGBTQ people. But we're not. We're actually at the point now where we are debating whether or not teachers have a right to talk to kids about sex and gender in classrooms. That is how far we progressed on this issue because of Christian tolerance, right? But see, again, this guy thinks, they just hate gays, right? They just hate the gays. And religion is teaching you to do that. Okay. All right.
A giant part of it. Religion teaches you to hate gay people. Don't tell me it doesn't. Some of you it doesn't. Some of you have wonderful sects of your religion that are open and caring and understand the message of Jesus and Muhammad, etc., and one of love and inclusivity, right? But a lot of religious people don't feel that way, and you know it. So the right-wing evangelical leaders spread. And so I don't care if they catch feelings over it. I don't care if CNN says, oh, you're not allowed on TV because you offended a portion of our audience. They spread hate, this poison throughout the land. They say, if you see someone like this, demean them.
No, they don't. Who says that? Who says that? I've seen plenty of transgender people out. Well, I ain't gonna say plenty, maybe a few, or some few that I've suspected, and I've said nothing to them at all, right? I've said nothing to them.
Say they're less than you. Say they should have less rights than you.
Nobody's saying that either. What rights are we trying to take away from trans people? Because again, it's not a right for men to be able to compete against women in biological sports. It's not a right for biological men to be in the same bathrooms with biological women. That's not a right. So what rights are you talking about?
And that we should all hate you and not even believe you. Not even believe you.
Again, we're forced to believe people, right? You're forced to believe somebody no matter what they say, no matter what they believe they are, even if it's not grounded in reality. We're forced to believe them according to Cenk Uygur, or you're a bigot. Again, these people are trying to police thoughts, right? They're trying to make thinking the wrong thing a hate crime.
And by the way, the right wing does this to everybody. African Americans say, hey, cops have been beating us up for hundreds of years. They go, I don't believe you.
That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is that you're exaggerating, right? You're exaggerating. Because obviously people know that there is police brutality in this country, but the left has exaggerated the issue to the point where they're making you think that as a black person, there is a statistically significant chance that you might get shot and killed by a police officer on any given day for no reason. That's not true. It's not true.
You made it up.
Yep.
Think about how insanely offensive that is.
This is definition of straw man 101. This man has never talked to a conservative a day in his life. He's never talked to a conservative to actually get a perspective on these issues, but he just parrots what he believes that conservatives believe without actually really knowing what we believe about this issue. And I think he would find that there's actually a diversity of opinions from conservatives on this issue. Not just, oh, everybody hates trans people. No, there's a lot of people that just want common sense. People can live their lives, but we got to have common sense. That's what I think a majority of people want.
And forget about, oh, hey, did we offend them or not? Think about if it was you. If it was you. You're a white right-winger, and you say, hey, I think this...
White right-winger. Because right-wingers can't be anything else but white.
Oh, in fact, you know it. And on a thing that you shouldn't get offended over. You deeply believe that Jesus Christ, and a lot of you evangelical right-wingers, you deeply believe that Jesus Christ was a hateful figure. He hated gay people. He hated trans people. He hated poor people. He loved rich people. And when I tell you that's a myth that doesn't exist, oh my God, you get so angry. And you go, why won't you believe me?
Yeah, I can apply the same argument when it comes to simple biological facts. Cenk Uygur gets so angry and so upset by over simple biological facts. Simply just saying that men can't get pregnant made this man melt down in tears. I might use this as the thumbnail. This is a thumbnail worthy frame here. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.